Thanks for joining the HomeMatters podcast with Eric and Gena Boggs, where they lead authentic, raw discussions about marriage, family life, kids, intimacy, and sex from a biblical perspective. Now here's your host, Eric and Gena Boggs.
Hello. Welcome to HomeMatters.
Sorry.
Podcast.
I mean, you just do all these things like during the lead-in and get me laughing, and then I'm supposed to be ready to roll when it comes up.
I'm just breaking it
or
down.
Or the beatboxing. Y'all need to hear him beatbox to the
just
music.
break it down before we get on.
You just so cool. That's what it is. You're just so cool. Oh,
we're so glad you joined us today. Good morning, good afternoon.
That's right.
Or good night. But
don't go to sleep quite yet. Give us 18, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't go to sleep.
Because we believe that everything in your life God is concerned with.
Yes,
and He wants your home. Man, I hope you realize your home matters.
Yes, it
Everything
does. Your
starts
home,
at home,
your family, your kids, your relationships, and man, I'm so glad God doesn't leave us to do it all by ourselves.
That's right.
Man, He's given us instruction. And hey, last time we were together, hope you picked it up. If not, maybe go back and listen to last time.
This is podcast, by the way, 21.
Is it 21?
Yep.
Okay, well, then it was on 20 that we started talking about being intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a word that Eric and I use a lot if you've heard us speak anywhere. I think you said last time we did a whole marriage conference on just being intentional one time.
Oh, yeah.
But that's,
and we will do another one.
Absolutely. That is what will make a difference. And I've said it before, that is what will take your normal, maybe you think ordinary home, family, marriage, relationships. It'll take it to another level if you just start being intentional.
And when we talk about that, again, we hope that we come across in a way we're not talking about just being so stuck in a routine, or
right.
you just got
We're
to
not
be
talking about robots
so
here.
scheduled and so mechanical that you got to walk on eggshells and make sure you get every I dotted,
T crossed.
I mean, again, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a life that it becomes kind of your nature.
That's right.
And again, we do believe that there's some things that you have to do and put in practice and make a habit sometime. A good habit, and then it becomes like your nature to act on those things. And so, again, that's kind of where we're going with this when we talk about being intentional.
Yeah, just it becoming your nature. I mean, I know, just by nature, some people are more attentive. Some people are more maybe affectionate. But when we realize the need for maybe some of these intentional acts in our life, when you begin to act on those, I mean, before you know it, that just becomes your nature, and
that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
It may be that you have to be very intentional in the sense that you have to make sure you're aware of it. You may have to leave yourself a note.
It may have to be like robot behavior.
Sound the alarm, sound the alarm on your phone.
Set a reminder on your phone, Yeah,
set a reminder for me to tell her I love her.
Hey, if that's the only way you'll remember right now, then set a reminder.
But hopefully what we're saying is you realize we're talking about things that just become your person, just who you are. Mm-hmm. Again, you two that have become one, and again, in your family life, your father, your mother, again, we just believe that in that there are things that sometimes that we just leave left out.
That's so true.
Will help us along the way. And there's some things we're going to talk about today, things that we just make kind of common practice. It just becomes kind of who we are.
Yeah.
That will.
These things will make a difference. I'll say this. If you will, I think it's 3 things. Don't we have 3? I think if you'll do these 3 things this week.
Actually 18 things.
18? We ain't got time for 18.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. We're just hitting 3 today. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list, but we're just saying, I'm saying if you will act on these 3 between now and next podcast, 1 week from today, I think it'll make a difference.
Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah, I do. And you may hear these and think, man, I knew that already. but that's what we said. I think we said the last podcast. There are a lot of things you should be doing already that maybe you're just leaving undone. That if you become a little more intentional about it.
Sometimes we just need our attention drawn to it, right?
Yeah.
And man, not complicated, but here's number one. Let's roll with them. Find a secret place. Find a secret place. Now, are we talking about run off on the back end of a country road and sit for a while?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. You may do that. You may just get away from everything as a couple.
Right.
Or it may just be that you get away by yourself with God. But that's what we're saying, that you find a secret place with God. Yes, and in marriage, make sure you have a place with each other.
Man, there's nothing that will positively impact your relationships in your family, whether it's, with your spouse, if you're married, with your kids, anything more than your quiet time with the Lord.
Yeah.
Your secret place. So find that secret place. We're saying first with the Lord, first in your relationship.
Yeah.
And, married couples, then you need to find a secret place with each other.
Yeah, we've often used the example of Jesus himself. He would come away. He would get away from everybody. He would get away from everything.
Come apart before he came apart.
Yeah, so he could spend time with his Father. And we're just saying that, the first thing I think that sometimes we have to recognize is the need for that time alone with God. Again, I love being with my wife, but there are other times that I do have to have that solace with just me and God. That's right. That I can hear from him. But we're saying the combination of being alone with God, having a secret place with God, and also having a secret place with my spouse. Right. That there's that place, that hideaway, if you would, that you get away from everything and kind of shut it down.
And that can be, man, you can do that. It'd be nice if you could just do that for like a week on a cruise. What's that sound like to you?
Sounds great.
Yeah, cruise, or maybe a weekend getaway. Or it could be 15 minutes somewhere in your house with the door closed to shut everybody else out. It's just a getaway. It's a place where you can kind of find an intimate moment, maybe away from the noise or away from the busyness, the shuffle, and, all aspects of daily life.
We try to walk
just
together.
To get away.
And it's always good just to walk, just to get out and walk together, talk together while we're walking. Yeah. I'm usually a little winded because I'm
a lot winded.
I'm walking a lot. So.
I'm trying to keep up.
But
you're walking a lot.
I do think that there are things and places that you can just get away.
Yes.
That maybe is something that you just consider common in life. But again, if you to seize those moments, those opportunities, and realize, man, this is our time. We've got some time together. Maybe riding somewhere together in a vehicle or something like that. But again, it's time.
Turn your music off, turn your phone off, just find that moment. Those intimate places, that's what we're saying when we talk about finding a place. Man, you need those places where you can just get, alone with God, yes, but quiet, man, listening to one another, conversation, face to face, face to face with God, face to face with one another.
Yeah.
Come on, eyeball to eyeball.
Wow.
Wow.
And again, that could lead into those intimate moments as well. And again, you need that intimacy with your spouse. Again, that's related very much to our intimate relationship with God.
That's right.
But we're just saying that there's those times where there is that maybe it's the expressions, maybe it's the body language or whatever it is, that we're communicating to one another and we're transparent with one another. Yeah. We're open to one another. And again, we're just saying that with that, out of that, our relationship, all flows out of
That's
this.
Right.
I mean,
out of my relationship with God, and then as a married woman, my relationship to my husband. So all of the relationships flow out of that.
All of our
find a secret place.
Our family, our children, all of our extended, all of our relationships flow out of that. My relationship with others in the body of Christ. It flows out of I call it the vertical relationship with God, and my horizontal relationship with others. All of that flows from that. So again, we just encourage you to find that there's that place that you just need to get along with God.
That's right.
Spend time with Him.
The secret
get along
place.
with each other.
What's number 2? Lead us number 2.
Again, these are thoughts that maybe just seem oversimplistic, but again, the next one is just to keep doing what you know you've been doing that is right.
That's right.
Just to keep doing what's
faithfulness
right.
to keep doing what's right, to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
That's right. When I was a little girl in church, you'd hear people say, just keep on keeping on with the Lord. And, in our relationship, not just with the Lord, but with each other. Sometimes you just got to keep doing what you know is right to do, whether you feel like it or not. Man, I feel like we say that a lot on this podcast, but it is so easy for any of us just to get caught up in our feeling. I mean, we're tired. We just don't feel like it. How many times have you said that? Maybe this week or maybe today. I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, and we're talking about these intentional acts, again, just being intentional to act in love. Again, love's not a feeling. It's an action word. It's a verb. Love is not just a feeling. You get to feel it sometime.
That's right.
But love is that commitment that you have to one another. And so we're just saying those intentional acts of love, those intentional acts that show that I am committed to your good.
That's right. You just keep on doing those.
Just keep on doing those things.
You just keep on leading. Come on, husband, set as the leader in that home. Husband, wife, if that's your situation as parents in that home, man, sometimes it's just easy to let your kids lead, We're just too tired to take the reins, right? Yeah. But man, just keep on leading. Keep on pressing forward.
Yeah, last time we talked about the things that we know we could do or should do, and again, those are things on that list. They're things like just valuing one another. Yeah, the whole thing of honor one another. That we keep that and again, that's something that should be there, right? Should be, and it may be something we do. But it's so, I think, easy for us just to kind of get stuck in the routine of life. And before you know it, instead of honor and value, it becomes very familiar and common. So true. And that's a bad place for any couple to get when the acts, the intentional honor that is given, the intentional value that's placed on your spouse, it's a dangerous place to be. Again, the principle of honor is taught throughout the Scripture. And again, it's just something that we sometimes can kind of get familiar with one another. Yeah, and we don't cherish like. I say it a lot of times this way. Sometimes we just want to honor people, on the terms of whether they deserve it or not. When really that is not the way we're taught in the Scripture. We honor them, and man, even in your relationships, I say it this way. We do a lot of times too. Honor people where you want them to be, and man, just watch them rise. Honoring someone is my decision. Yeah. Has nothing to do with them. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter what they do or say. If I value people, I can honor them regardless of whether they fit my parameters or fit my expectations or not. Man, so all these things, we just keep doing what we know we're supposed to do. Keep helping. Keep serving. Come on, keep submitting. All right. That's a dangerous word, isn't it? Yeah. Not really. I'm not just talking to ladies right there. The word says we give ourselves to one another. Yep. So we just keep doing that again. Total submission. Whether we feel it or not. And the big word has always been for me is if we're going to be intentional, we're intentional and we do it with consistency. Yes. And again, I think that so many times that we can have the ebb and flow of life and emotion going on. And, usually women are a little more emotionally in touch than men most of the time, not always. In touch with our emotions. Yeah. And men are more factual. But again, in that, I think that we have to make sure that we're consistent in the sense of our attitude, our demeanor. That's it. Yeah, I think in our attitude. The way we carry ourselves, the love that we... Even in our responses, I think. Man, just the consistency of, knowing who you're getting. I shouldn't have to get home in the evening and wonder, is he going to be nice tonight? I need to go to bed early or what? But just a consistency in our life. That's so important. And then just what about disciplines in your life? Just doing, again, what we know we're supposed to be doing, whether they're personal disciplines or what about this in a family situation? What about discipline with kids? Sure. And again, that has to be something that we're willing to act on, right? Yeah. Because, the fact is, raising a family's tough, and it won't just happen.
That's so true.
You have to be very intentional about the parameters, the boundaries of their life that we are established in our house. And again, I'm not talking about things that we're just overly demanding with all the time, that just because we want them to be like us. But again, that we put things in place where they understand that outside of these certain parameters or these certain boundaries, there are consequences. And again, that has to be true in every relationship. We don't, again, we can't treat so common our relationship that we just whatever we want to do, whatever we feel like. If we value one another, we would never expect that.
That's true. Let me share this verse. In James 4:17 says, so whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is what?
Sin.
It's sin. I mean, if you know what you're supposed to be doing,
you disobey God.
And, I mean, that's pretty plain. That we don't like that.
I wasn't coming for that heavy stuff today.
I know.
That is not the reason I turned this on.
What about this, James 1:22?
But again, it is that important, though, that we really recognize that, man, when we do things that we know we shouldn't be doing.
That's true. Or have attitudes we know we shouldn't have. Are we
not doing the thing that we should be doing? Man, when we know what we're supposed to do and we don't do it, that's disobedience to God.
James 2 talks about being hearers and doers. You know, again, so if we know what we're supposed to do and we don't do it, I mean.
Let's hit this last one.
Okay. Always, get this, always be attentive to renewing passion. Renewing passion. Come on. Now, what is passion? What is passion in our life? It's more than a feeling, again. It's more than something I just stir up one particular day.
Yeah, but passion is actually, it is a gift to our life that gives us the zeal and the motivation to pursue the things that we should pursue.
Yeah.
And again,
that's a great definition. You got to say that one again. That's good.
I don't know if I can. I've always said, though, the proof of passion's in your pursuits.
Yeah.
It's the things that we give ourselves to, that we really have strong attachment, strong investment. We're passionate about those things. So, again, in this relationship, we're just saying that our passions should be something. The passion of our marriage should be something that's renewed on a continual basis. It's something that we have to be intentional about. You can't make passion happen.
That's right.
You can't make it.
That's what I was saying. You can't really stir it up. But I think that comes so often when we are, back up to number 2, when we're doing the things that we know we should be doing. Again,
there was something that you were doing that ignited passion in your relationship.
And it fuels that passion.
Even now, if you're out there and you're getting ready for marriage, there are things that you're doing that, man, you're just passionate about this other person to the point that you want to spend the rest of your life with them. But again, those things that are happening now, you're intentional about those things. And we're saying after marriage, even the Lord taught us in Revelation, he said, I've got this one thing against you. You've lost your first love. You lost your first passion.
Yeah, and the answer to that was go back and do your what? Things. Your first things again, those first works again. So what you were doing in the beginning, man, when love just came alive in your life for one another, husband, wife.
Yeah. And again, we're saying that, man, we have to be intentional about all these things that we're supposed to be doing. Let's make sure that with that, again, when you got together, when you first decided, I want to spend my life with this person,
rest of my life.
I don't think that life was filled with just strain and stress and boredom and no enjoyment, but it was full. You probably spent a lot of time together. You probably played together, did things you enjoyed together. Probably made some investments in that relationship.
Yeah, you nourished that passion. You fed that passion. And that's what we're saying here. Do those things. Be intentional about renewing that passion. What do I need to do? What were those first works? What
Keep
can I do?
Falling in love over and over again. And
keeping it alive.
We've been married. Gena and I have been married 36 years.
36 years.
Last August. And man, that's crazy. But again, I can say that through the years, and again, a lot of it birthed out of pain. But through the years, I realized how much I valued and how much I cherished her. Excuse me, my voice there. But again, we realized that out of that, the value that we had in one another, and through some of the pains in life, you realize, man, what God has given us. And after 36 years, I can say, man, I love her more. I'm more passionate about her than I ever have been in my life, and that continues to grow. And we don't believe that's something that just has to go away or die out.
Not just for us. And I mean, I was sitting here thinking, we have been intentional about pursuing God and pursuing one another and the things that God's called us to. Hadn't always got it perfect. We're not that perfect couple here, but God has blessed us. And I think it's because we have been intentional.
Yep.
We have tried to passionately do the things that God's called us to do.
Listen, as we finish today, we'd just like you to consider one thing. All right, what are the things that I can act on intentionally? What are those things? Do I need to spend time with God? Do I need to just make sure I'm doing the right things and doing them on a consistent basis? Do I need to make sure that in that I'm renewing the passion, the romance of my life in those? But always knowing this, there's something maybe better than you've had before.
Yeah.
Better in
front of us, always. God's always got better. Man, if you'll just pursue Him and pursue one another, I mean, even if you say, man, our marriage is great right now, God's always got better.
Yeah, that is my mind and my heart. I know it's my wife as well.
Yeah.
We always believe, man, let's just let God make it better.
That's right.
Again, things change, life changes. But again, we believe that our relationship continues to grow and grow. Because ultimately, we want the world to know that our love is nothing in comparison to the love that God has for us.
That's right.
So we just bless you. Yeah. It's so good to have you with us always. Tell your friends.
Home Matters podcast. Hey, share it for us.
HomeMatters.family. Go there.
HomeMatters.family.
We've got a marriage getaway coming up
before long.
You can register, find out more information there. Marriage Matters Getaway. Look for that. But again, we bless you. Look forward to the next time together.
God bless you, family. We'll see you next time.